Perched high above the city of Nottingham on the aptly named Castle Rock sits Nottingham Castle. But deep below the castle grounds, carved out of the sandstone, lies an ancient network of tunnels and caves. And it's from those caves that our stories begin.
Come. There's little time before the sheriff notices I'm missing. The sheriff has eyes and ears everywhere. Follow me. I have much to tell. These tunnels beneath my city of Nottingham date back to the reign of King Alfred, and it was the Saxons that first started to dig into the sandstone and make their homes. Now all of this is used for a more gruesome purpose.
During the reign of King John, John became unsettled with the power being gained by Llewelyn the Great, Prince of Gwynedd. And in 1211, John attacked North Wales. Llewelyn was forced to come to terms, and he surrendered land to John, he surrendered his cattle to John, but he also surrendered hostages. And they were children, sons of Welsh noblemen, 28 of whom were held here at Nottingham Castle. And then whilst John was out hunting in Sherwood Forest, a messenger arrived to tell him that Llewelyn was attacking the English border. John rallied his men for council underneath the Parliament oak, and the decision was made to execute the hostages. The children were dragged screaming to the ramparts, and they were hung. Their cries for mercy can still be heard crying out over the castle walls.
Deep in this subterranean underworld, ghosts, ghouls, shadow people and spectres are commonplace if you dare to venture down.
Roger Mortimer, the first Earl of March, was one of the powerful marcher lords granted powers usually reserved for the king. But after leading the marcher lords in revolt against King Edward II, Mortimer fled to France, and it's here that he was joined by Queen Isabella. Mortimer and Isabella invaded England, and London rose in support. Mortimer assumed royal power, and he ruled England. And it was during one of Mortimer's meetings with his allies at Nottingham Castle that Mortimer met his demise.
Often, the condemned are brought down these tunnels and killed without trial. Murdered. It's easy to dispose of the bodies down here when nobody will see.
On October the 19th, 1330, under the cover of darkness, Edward III and his men entered the tunnel. They marched through the ancient caves up into the Inner Bailey, and Mortimer was taken. He was bound and gagged during his trial, forbidden to speak in his own defence. And the once powerful marcher lord and de facto ruler of England was hung as a commoner. Tales of the Earl of March's ghostly presence in the area have long been told amongst the locals, of footsteps ascending in the darkness, of a shadowy form, the rustling of papers, footsteps appearing in the sand. Either way, the Earl of March's ghostly presence down here was enough to convince the local residents to stay in their homes after nightfall.
In these haunted tunnels, the dark shadows walk, and the murdered children cry. For the condemned prisoners of Nottingham Castle, in these tunnels, they are destined to die.
Roger Mortimer was captured and dragged away in the presence of the former Queen Isabella, the she-wolf of France. Now, during the Second World War, these tunnels were in use as air raid shelters, and cries in Norman French were heard. Belle Fitz, ayez pitié de gentil Mortimer. Fair son, have pity on gentle Mortimer.
Nottingham Castle, the city of caves. Nottingham, the city of ghosts.